ladies. Thank you, Omaha. Thank you. Sit on down. Right, so number one, there is nothing that I love speaking to a group of women. I love it more than anything I do. And to the men who are intelligent enough to be here with them. Right. As I look out here, I just have to say, I'm now seeing for the first time, do you know that my internet site, my website, happens to be run out of Omaha, Nebraska by the I group that's sitting right here. So, while you may think that Suze Orman would have this fancy schmancy internet group, web group from New York, California, oh no, the best is right here, and I found it. Now, there's so many things to talk to you about, so many things that you need to know. But I just want to tell you, this is one woman who is so happy to be here with all of you. I know that I just heard that the goal is for you to say, I am a powerful woman. My goal is for you to believe that you're a powerful woman. My goal is to have you understand that when you say that behind every woman is a more successful woman, that you also understand the definition of success. Is the definition of success simply that you have a great job title, you have a lot of money in a bank account, that you have a good stock portfolio, that all of those things are going on? Or is a successful woman somebody who believes in herself, no matter what she does, no matter what she has, no matter who she's with, no matter where she lives, the car she drives, no matter anything? Is a successful woman simply a woman who loves who she is because she is who she is and she's not what she has? And that's your definition of success, ladies. Now, I know all of last year, the current administration's theme was, yes, we can. However, for a we, there has to be an I. And I think it's even more important for you to understand that, yes, I can. That you can do it. Now, sometimes women feel they need support. We have to help each other to get to where we're supposed to be. Sometimes we even put other women and other men, our children, our bosses, our plants, our dogs, all in front of us. Because we're going to be that woman that says, I can support you. I can help you. I can make your life better. No, ladies. The correct statement is, I can help myself. I can give everything to myself. I can make my life better. It is not selfish. It is not the wrong thing to do. If you really want to help your children, if you want to help others, you have to be strong enough to help yourself first. But not with women. Women, you don't care about yourselves. You care about everybody else, but you don't care about yourselves. And why is that? I said it last year. I'm going to say it again because it's worth repeating. Listen, ladies, you have the ability to give birth. In most cases, you have the ability to feed that which you've given birth to. It is your nature to nurture. It is your nature to give. The problem is you give and you give and you give to everybody and everything, and you have nothing left to give to yourself. And I'm here to tell you that is not the definition of a powerful woman. That is not the definition, in my opinion, of a successful woman. That is the definition of a woman who says, I don't matter. And how can you have power in your life when you are saying by your actions, I don't matter? Now, today is the start. Hopefully today is the start of many things for a lot of you, where you turn that equation around, where once and for all you understand the importance that you play, not just in other people's lives, but in your own lives, ladies, in your own lives. You have to own your own power. You have to own your own future. You have to own the fact now that today, economically speaking, is a far different day than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years ago. Again, I have this belief, and I'm going to set out to prove this year or next, that everything has turned around, and now a woman is probably a major wage earner in the family, if not the major wage earner. It is no longer that men make the money and women are doing everything else. It is now turned around that women are starting to hold an equal position, if not a more important position, financially speaking, in terms of money being brought in, than their male counterpart. The problem is, however, even though that may be the reality, the perception is still women are inferior when it comes to making money, investing money, and knowing what to do with money. Well, I'm here to tell you that just is not true, and you have got to understand that, Omaha. Now, a lot is going on with money in the world. I don't know. I have to wonder if we'd be in this situation if women were running everything. I don't know, I just don't think that one woman after another woman would get on television and lie into those cameras about everything, how everything was doing. I don't know. I just don't think women would have given people, one after another, loans that they couldn't afford, or extended their credit limits to beyond the beyond so that everybody could financially hang themselves. Or that women would have been able to say to everybody, oh, it doesn't matter. Let's just let people do things even though they can't afford it. Because you wouldn't have done it. Because your nature is to nurture, and you would have wanted to take care of everybody, even if it meant that you didn't make money, you didn't have a good bottom line. You would not have let that happen, women. So here's the scoop. We have got to become the leaders of the future. We have got to ensure that that never happens, and you have got to own your own power so that you can rise up to the top, so that those that are at the bottom never get squished again, never make it, so that they lose their homes, they lose their jobs, they lose their credit, they lose the ability to go to school. Women in this room in Omaha, Nebraska, you can change that, and you can change it today. Do you hear me? You know, when I heard I was the first speaker today, I said, are you sure they can take me at this hour in the morning? Are you sure? And I said, yes, Susie. And when I thought about it, I thought, well, hopefully they can. Hopefully they're familiar with my passion and the truth that comes out of me, to want to make sure that every single one of you, and every single one of you that touches others, that you live a life that you deserve to live. A life where you're not worried, and a life where you have the power to control your own destiny. And today is an important day for all of you, but today will not do any of you any good if you leave here and you forget what the speakers have said to you, what you have learned. It won't do you any good. Now, it's important to start with money, because I do also have this firm belief that you are never powerful in life until you're powerful over money. And if you are not powerful with money, I have to tell you, you are not powerful, period. One may say, especially a woman, money isn't that important. It doesn't matter. Well, I'm here to tell you, money is kind of just like air. If you don't have air, you can't breathe. Isn't that true? If you don't have money, I'm here to tell you, I don't think you'll want to breathe. I don't think you'll want to live. Because when you don't have money and you can't feed your kids, you can't have a house, you can't have a car, you can't clothe yourself, you can't pay for medicine, what are you going to do, ladies and gentlemen? So I'm asking you to get involved with your money right here, right now, and today. Got that, everybody? Now, you're in Omaha, Nebraska. And what's fascinating about Omaha, Nebraska is that you are not suffering like the rest of the country is suffering. The rest of the country, particularly Florida, California, Arizona, Nevada, these places are suffering so I cannot even begin to tell you. They bought real estate, and that real estate now is down 40, 50% in some areas from where they purchased. Can you imagine buying a piece of property for $150,000, and now that property is worth $75,000 or $60,000, yet your mortgage is still $150,000. Can you imagine being in that situation? Not really, because that didn't happen in Omaha. Unemployment throughout the United States, we just had the numbers released again, skyrocketing. We're at 8.1% in the United States of America. Not in Nebraska, everybody. Do you know that your unemployment rate is approximately in the 4% range? So do you understand that you have advantages here in Nebraska that you do not have anywhere else in the United States? What am I talking about? Because of the condition of the economy, the government has put in many packages to help those areas that are seriously hurting. An $8,000 tax credit to buy your first home. Definition of the first home is a home that you haven't owned for at least 3 years. So if some of you bought a home and 3 years ago you sold it and now you want to buy another home, you qualify for a first-time home. An $8,000 tax credit. Now, an $8,000 tax credit in San Francisco. You buy a home for $1 million in San Francisco. You don't get a lot for $1 million in San Francisco. Have to come up with a $200,000 down payment. Okay. So an $8,000 tax credit helps you some, but it doesn't help you a lot, does it? Let's take Omaha. Let's just say the average price of a home here is $150,000. Now you're putting down $30,000. And now you get an $8,000 tax credit. That's a huge amount of money. Do you understand that? In some cases, if you buy a $100,000 home, the government is almost coming up with 50% of your down payment for you to buy a home. At the same time, what you've got going on here is interest rates for homes have decreased to almost 4 3/4, possibly 4.5% shortly. So you are able to take advantage of the United States' dilemma where interest rates are at the lowest they've ever been to purchase a home. You have an $8,000 tax credit for you or your children or whoever it may be that wants to buy a piece of real estate. And so in your particular situation here, especially since unemployment is not so bad, do you understand why this is a boon for all of you, Omaha? But you have to know these things, and you have to not be afraid by what everybody else is telling you for the rest of the United States, because you're not like the rest of the United States. You happen to live in an area where you are doing okay, where real estate is okay, where things are on some level still just like they always were. So you have to understand, even though I know some of you have lost your jobs and some of you don't know what to do, the truth of the matter is the majority of you are really still doing okay. So please don't take on the fear of others to keep you down. Should you be buying real estate right now? If and only if you have at least a 20% down payment and an 8-month emergency fund, and you can afford not only the mortgage payment, but the property tax payment, the insurance payment, possibly the association fees if you're in some development like a condo, and you have at least $100 or $200 a month as well to add on to that for maintenance in case something breaks. Today, I am on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I know you think I'm here, but truthfully, I'm on Oprah. Right. And what's so funny is, I don't know if those of you remember, a year ago when I was here, I was on the Oprah Winfrey Show as well that day. Do you remember that? Do you think God is trying to tell us something? All right. And I have to tell you, there's a woman on the Oprah Winfrey Show that you'll see today that called in and wanted to know, should she buy a piece of real estate? And if she should, how much should she spend? Behind the scenes, what you don't see is me spending hours and hours and hours on every single one of those guests. I go through every part of their financials, and I'm telling you, it is a long and lengthy process. So after having gone through this process, I come up with the conclusion that she cannot afford more than a $200,000 home at max. At max. Currently, her rent payment is $920. Now, why am I telling you this? Because I thought for sure she would listen to me. Wouldn't you listen to me if I told you something? I would hope you would. So I also make sure that I call every single person that I'm ever on that show with a week or 2 or 3 later after we tape the show to make sure, are you okay? Do you need any more help? What have you done? I called her 2 days ago. You know what she said to me? Oh, nice to hear from you. I just put in a bid for a house today. I said, how much was the house? She said, $240,000. I said, I told you you can't afford something more than $200,000. She said, my real estate agent told me I could. All right, a real estate agent that probably hasn't sold a piece of property in the East Coast now for a year. A real estate agent that's a real estate agent, not that I'm putting them down by any means, but they have to make a living as well, and they are in most cases paid by the seller, not by the buyer. And she listened to this person. Now, I got aggravated. I got seriously aggravated. And I went through every single fact with her of how much she spends every month. By the time it was done, if she had purchased this home, she would be $600 to $1,000 a month underwater and not be able to afford her monthly expenses. But she didn't do the homework. She didn't really care. She wanted to believe that with the $8,000 tax credit and the low interest rate that she could afford more home than I told her to, and that somebody else who could benefit from selling her a larger home knew more than Suze Orman. Okay. I told her our relationship was over, that was the last time I was going to speak to her. Now, 2 things to learn from there. Do I think that if you can afford it right now in the way that I defined afford it, that you should absolutely do it? I do, and so should you. I think we are closer to the bottom of real estate than we've been in a long time. As I said 2 years ago, I thought it would be in the year 2010. So if you have the money and it makes sense, and this year you could take advantage of the $8,000 tax credit that may not be there next year, can you please go ahead and do so? It makes sense.